Hello, everybody. Welcome to Jazz FM 91. I am your host, heyKipp. We got a couple of lovely guests that are going to be coming on the show today. Good evening, everyone. It is 5:36 p.m. in lovely Los Angeles, California. It is the 10th of January, and I hope you all are staying dry out there. It is a rainy one out there. It is rainy, but it's clear over here in this section of Los Angeles, which is very fantastic. A lot of patrons here. We appreciate you all being here. It's fantastic. We have something really fun going on today. I actually have a close friend that's going to be coming on. We'll be talking about some interesting topics while you all are on the road and hopefully staying safe, putting those seatbelts on, smoking, all those beautiful things that you want to keep your lungs pure and your mind even more pure. I got a lovely friend of the show. We have Easy Online Banking. So have you been on a radio show before, out of curiosity?
Have I been on a radio show?
Mm-hmm.
My roommate in college was a radio major, which God help you if you were a radio major in what would have been 2014. Good God, what a bad decision.
Yeah, I wonder, you can just kind of plug in a Go XLR and kind of learn how to do those little fun sound effects. Is that really all?
That's all it takes. Yeah, you just need a soundboard with some kooky farts and some bonkers music, and then you cut to some Nickelback, and you're good to go, baby.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. I think radio is interesting. Yeah, I can't believe that's still a thing that's offered.
It seems very criminal, to be honest. It seems disgusting that they would con literal children into spending tens of thousands of dollars to become a radio major.
Yeah. So you're saying you wouldn't have done that?
Personally, in my opinion, I don't think I would have done that. I mean, as much as I probably would. I do kind of have a secret dream to have your job as a radio host, right. But in like the mid 80s, probably.
Yeah, you could sort of have some more in-depth topics and not have to, sort of play the top 10 hits that'll make your mind turn to goop.
Yeah, when that was like a tangible career and not just like a robot serving music to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're the analog guy.
Baby, I keep it analog. I don't mess with computers. I don't mess with fucking microchips. Are you kidding me? They're putting those in the vaccines now. Do you know that?
That is true. Well, I've known since day one. I actually knew before then because I knew all about it. I know what the government's doing at some times because I have a family member that works for the government.
Oh, you're one of those lizard people.
Again, something I can't really talk about. But speaking of family, I kind of wanted to come on and talk about something interesting today. Marriage. When you hear that word marriage, what viscerally comes up for you? Marriage. And don't anyone, I just want to preface again, if you make any sort of marriage, true marriage, fucking Princess Bride, we will ban you. I'm not. That is not a joke. Done. It seems like I'm making it a joke. It is not a joke. I'm tired. No more.
Mm-hmm.
I will be.
It's a sickness that needs to be eradicated.
Yeah, we are done with it. It is done.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, what do you feel about marriage?
Marriage. So, kind of a foreign concept to me, to be honest. If we're gonna get into the general concept of it. So if we're getting deep, I lived primarily with my mom for most of my life, and she was never married. Never been married. And yeah, isn't that wild? And so it always just seemed like a way to ruin your relationship, to let the government get in the guts of what you got going on between you and your loved one. And it seems just like a recipe for resentment, you know what I mean?
Yeah, recipe for resentment. Now, what do you mean by that? How does one become resented?
It feels like it's kind of an evil contract, right?
Sure.
It feels like you enter into an agreement with someone, and that might be, in front of God, in front of whoever, but it's just it's a recipe for disaster that seems to only end in tears.
Yeah, it's like around 50% end in divorce, correct?
Around 50%. Do you remember that Blink-182 song "Stay Together for the Kids"?
I don't recall that one.
Oh, okay. It's a good little tune. But at the
could you sing some of it for it?
So here's your holiday. Hope you enjoy this time. You gave it all away. It's not mine. So when you're dead and gone, hope you remember this line 20 years now on. It's not right. Is that too much, or?
No, it gave me a good insight into what that song would be like.
Right. Yeah. So it's all about the wreckage that divorce causes, which is so hilarious to me coming from who were at the time like 26-year-old men. Mm-hmm. Still coping with the pain of their parents' divorce. So much so that the first like the beginning, there was a music video for the song, and the beginning like screen of it was just a black screen with white text that's saying 50% of households are destroyed by divorce.
Destroyed
by divorce. How dare they? How dare two adults get together and then break up?
Yeah, well, it causes destruction. It just causes a lot of destruction. It you create this thing that, in some situations is created from a space of not wanting to create something in the first place. And you create or, bring in children and just build something that's on a foundation that feels incredibly unstable in some situations.
True. Yeah. I mean, people get married for all kinds of fucking reasons, right? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm on the radio. For all kinds of kooky reasons.
Yeah. And like, what would be a reason that if you had to get married, what would be your reasons? Because again, the tax break thing is not actually much of a thing unless you make I think like a good amount of money.
Yeah. Not really too much of an incentive.
No.
I mean, so like a real answer, like if that's something my partner really wanted and it was important to them or whatever,
you'd put yourself in the government logs.
Yeah. I'd get the 5G chip. I'd get the transmitter in my brain. But I mean, if we're going what would really get me interested in marriage, I'd like some sort of like power gain from it, right?
Sure.
Like some sort of, like kind of, I'm thinking of kind of like a Habsburgian kind of like I marry the Grand Vichy of France, right? And I kind of get like 100 acres and some political control,
Yeah. There's definitely,
that would get me interested.
Yeah, that's interesting too. Of like, depending who you're marrying, you can gain some sort of power, whether that's if they're very famous or in a very important political situation. But if you're not married to someone who is that, who has that kind of power, maybe you look for some other kind of power, right? And that can become more manipulative, like the power to like control someone to do things, or the power to make them do backflips whenever you want, or and also can get much darker, you know what I mean? Power to like make them do like cleaning chore stuff because you claim like whatever incompetence shit. That part.
Yeah, anything I can do to enforce a traditional gender role, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
What about you? Like, is there any sort of situation where you think, like, what would get you interested or jazzed up to get married? I'm interested to hear what you have to say.
Very little. I don't really care to get married. I don't think I'm ever going to be married. I think, when I was in middle school and high school, when I was like a centrist Republican, essentially, I thought a lot of things that I believe very differently now. Yeah, well, I said I'm socially, liberal, fiscally conservative, but didn't understand didn't know anything at all. I just said that because my parents said it.
That's cool.
Yeah, and And so, but based off of all the marriages I ever saw in my life growing up, it didn't seem like it was a cool thing. I didn't think it was cool. I didn't think it was hip. I didn't think it was something that was interesting and seemed to bring a lot of rough social dynamics. And so it was kind of like a thing where I went like, oh, well, when I was younger, I went, well, I guess I'll get married at some point, and to this mysterious figure that I don't know. And then I got older and went, well, geez, I don't really want to do any of that. I'm fine. I'm fine just having my close friends and having people I'm romantically interested in, making those kinds of relationships. But as soon as you just like, right, because relationships in general can become complicated, right? And they change, and sometimes they drift apart, and sometimes they come back together, whether that's platonic, romantic, like familial things, right? But as soon as you make it into some sort of like binding contract, it feels very bizarre, and it feels like a way more like permanent thing that can't be altered in any kind of way without it being a huge headache.
Yeah, exactly. You're entering into so much permanence.
Yeah.
And like a rigid structure that's been defined for, hundreds of years, and that like there's so many fucking expectations that come with that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, like if it's something that was very interesting to you growing up, or you were surrounded by people who were able to make any kind of marriage work, or not even necessarily marriage, but just really like nuclear family, like examples of relationships, it just, you'll maybe want to mimic that. But I think, as a lot of people can resonate with, if you didn't have that kind of nuclear family type of dynamic, that seemed very healthy, because a lot of times it feels like it's not really. It feels very isolating. It feels like, you just kind of deal with your parents or your like one or two siblings, and then that's kind of it. And you're like, well, shit. Like, and then the cousins, maybe you like rarely see, if you even have any cousins that live near you, but you kind of feel like isolated in that kind of way,
Yeah. Yeah, I get that, like, that weird feeling of like, like witnessing something that you're just not like party to, and just that it seems like an expectation that a lot of people have of you, but it really doesn't make any sense, right? And that just makes you feel like like an outsider looking in kind of vibe. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
it's just bizarre. Again, like anything that kind of revolves around nuclear family dynamics, I just don't really mess with. I don't feel comfortable with it. It feels, again, very isolating. It feels, it's just pillars of white supremacy that continues to make people feel like they don't have any kind of community to rely on besides like the people that live in your house,
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's just another silo to cut yourself off from other people,
Yeah, and again, like it takes a village to raise a child kind of situation, right? Like if I was going to have a child, I'd want to have a lot of people be able to help me, and vice versa. If I had someone I knew who was close to me who had a child, I would want to be able to help them, along with like a lot of other family members or friends that were just all like chilling about in a village, just hanging out,
Yeah, like that's just another like concept of a family that seems that would be like completely normal to like other cultures and stuff, but we just see that as just like bizarre and strange, But that sounds way more wholesome than like every nuclear family like that I've been close to is tremendously fucked up.
Yeah, like unless they're so involved with their family and they all live really, really close to each other, like essentially neighbors, like it seems really, really difficult. And if obviously there are a lot of toxic behaviors that aren't being like checked on, then that's even more of a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, no, it's a nightmare. Like, I'm just thinking of every marriage preceding, me and my family. Like, they're just nightmares. They're just like you get stuck in them, and then you have to destroy your household with divorce.
Yeah, and then the children. I mean, but I hear a lot of people who have had parents who've been divorced who are relieved that they finally do, because they were just much better off not being together. But then it says, but then that's to say, like, what. Why did that even happen in the beginning? How did that relationship even start? And who knows if it was either a result of not being able to communicate healthily, or they just drifted apart, or you know, a plethora of reasons that could have attributed to divorce, or just the reason why it wasn't maybe a healthy relationship to start with in the first place.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, there's just, I feel like there are, there are a lot of, yeah, there's just like, it feels like there's one box, this marriage box, right, that we got here. And there's a lot of things that kind of come with it that have just been passed along that we feel like are what make a good marriage or what make a good relationship, and no one can fit in that. Like, there's so much other random extraneous shit that goes into it that, like, I mean, and who knows if we're even meant to be with the same person for that long, you know? Yeah. Like, I guess I've never seen it personally work for anyone. To be honest.
Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, like, I know a couple of people who appear to have like a really healthy relationship, but they're also like new into marriage. But all the people I know who are like older than me who are married, you know, obviously relationships take work and it takes a lot of effort. And I'm sure there are a handful of people who are married who work really well together and have been for a while. But it seems like, yeah, like, are you having fun? Are you having fun? Are you, I'm not even necessarily having fun. You don't need to be doing like exciting things all the time, right? But are you like, are you happy with this person? Are you content with this person? Do you like being able to have that person be a part of your life in the way that it is? Right? Just from even like a neutral standpoint, like, do you like this person at all? Because again, it's hard to keep up with friends. It's hard to like, you know, I don't know, the whole thing of, yeah, just like keeping a relationship like spicy and coming up with like unique date nights and stuff. I don't think you have to do that all the time, but it's, again, I think that if you make that person that you're married your everything person, then I think that's where you kind of start to slip up, because one person can't be everything for you. You know, like, I can't, like, let's say you're my friend, but I can't expect you to do all the things that all of my friends would do. Like, you're, you know, you have your friends that you talk to about like specific things, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I could be on a call with you for 7 hours with you explaining me like tech issues, right? You'd probably, your brain would burn out.
Yeah. I'd start peeling my skin with a fucking vegetable peeler. Yeah, but we got other people for that, you know?
Yeah.
So what it sounds like to me is that you're making a strong case for polygamy.
It's not even necessarily polygamy. I don't think you need to or like want to. It's just, again, just there's many different types of relationship dynamics that are out there that a lot of people don't think about. Like, it's just like friend or like romantic partner, and that's it. And there's so much more complexity to that, of like, you know, your situational friends, like friends you have for specific reasons, your really close friends that you talk to about these things, your other close friends that you see every once in a while, your old childhood friend that you see to talk about like back in the day stuff, versus like in the same way, like romantic interactions, like you have like romantic partners that you talk to about certain things or do other things with, or, you know, if you're asexual, like, you know, whatever partners that you like cuddle with or like, or watch certain movies with, or there's one partner that you like to go on like fancy dinner dates with because they love food and you talk to them about that, right? Like, it's, I think there's a lot of room for unpacking the complication, the complex realms of friendship, but also putting that into a more like maybe romantic kind of situation. Maybe not something that's like super there, because maybe there's people you see casually, right? But again, keeping up with a lot of people is exhausting. So I imagine that you can't have like all of those things, right? But it just kind of depends, again, like on what you're looking for.
Yeah, like, yeah, I guess the idea of like having that person that kind of fills a lot of slots is kind of alluring, right? Like, it's a lot less, I guess it kind of is a lot less to juggle at a certain point. Like, you know, like if you have so many people in your life that kind of fill different needs, it's a lot of balls in the air. But, and so like having that kind of packed into one homie, there is kind of like a comfort to that. But it's a lot of fucking expectation to put on someone.
It's a lot of pressure, I think. I think it's time pressure. And I think that being able to just have that, again, I'm not someone who thinks like everyone should be polyamorous or whatever, but I think that just being able to know that having like a romantic relationship, you don't even have to have any romantic relationship at all. But I think having people in your life is important. So like maintaining different like friendship dynamics and as well as like romantic dynamics, if that's something you want, it doesn't have to be this one person that like does it all for you. Because I think that's just not, I don't think that's realistic. I think you can have like a life partner that who's like your best friend and you like to talk to, but I think that's where you see a lot of people who just like only hang out with their partner and then they lose all their friends and then they have no friends when they're an adult. You know,
classic move.
Yeah, it happened. I feel like I hear that story all the time.
No, it's a classic move. You got this solid group of homies, and then what happens? Two of them pair off together and go off in their own little world, and then they kind of disconnect from everything and kind of like follow into each other, right? There's like, there's something classically romantic about that, obviously. But then they're on this own little island, and then you're alone.
Yeah,
you're alone together.
Yeah,
in this bizarre little thing.
Yeah, it's interesting, and so I guess it's just something. Yeah, again, like what Chase was saying, like interpersonal relationship balance is really huge and needs to be addressed so that you don't fall into being very like dependent on just one person, because again, like we're humans and we thrive off of kind of village mentality and having a lot of at least like a solid group of people that you can depend on for a number of things. And so I think again it's just like important to not, again, and maybe similar to also like maybe one close friend, and maybe obviously everyone's different with that, but if you have only one friend that you rely on for all of these things, I think that can also fall into that as well, of again like isolating yourself to just one person, because I think just humans aren't, maybe we thrive with having like a few other folks to help us around, right? Because maybe that friend then gets overwhelmed to feel like they have to be that everything for you when they maybe can't sometimes.
Yeah, we're pack animals, like we rely on large groups. That's when you're cut off from that, you start to go, little bananas. So yeah, I guess there's like a way in which you can not be in solitary confinement with another person, relationship wise, but like maybe have one constant. I don't know. I still, I haven't found that, but maybe there's a way to have like kind of, like, I guess I'm thinking of like a tugboat. You got
explain
like,
it. Explain that.
Yeah, you got like your tugboat person, the person that's kind of like mainly dragging you along, but let's say you're like, we're all broken down ships, right? You're like a big fucking yacht that's stuck in the Indian Ocean, and you're putting out the SOS signal. That's what life is to me. I'm living on a constant sinking ship, and so you get your tugboat out there to drag you to safety, and that's kind of your main course of action there. But you still got a full crew of people on this ship that are manning different things and specializing in their own things, but you got one person really pulling a lot of the weight. Does that make sense?
Yeah, again, like it kind of just, you need to be able to rely on the people that are around you and having those solid relationships, however different they may be in comparison to one another. Just think it's important. I think it's important to just not just, again, it's not that it's everyone, I think, is entitled to find whatever feels right for them. Some people do really well with just having like one partner in their life that they can rely on, have their best friend, and do a lot of things that kind of like not necessarily like checks off their boxes, but like is able to be there for a lot of different things, and it just like works out, just very maybe, I don't know if lucky is the right word, but it just kind of works out. But again, like, having the idea of, having other people that can also like fit in those boxes as well is important. It's important.
Yeah, I agree.
who knows? I don't want to be like, because I think it can, the conversation of, yeah, polyamory is so awesome and everyone should do it. I think that is gross. So
it's bizarre.
It's weird. It's a weird thing to bring in, but
yeah, because that's just you're just heightening so many relationships to another level of just like intimacy that my brain feels like mashed potatoes even thinking about it.
Yeah, and also a lot of times people who end up doing polyamory or like or non-monogamy most of the time is what it is. Usually do it because they're already in a relationship and have never done it before and think that like that's gonna like solve the relationship. That's like big no, that's not how you do it. So
it's just I mean, when you feel like a relationship's not working, there's so many routes, so many fantastic routes you can take. You can get a big car, you can have a kid, or you can throw another fucker in the mix. Like, who knows? Like, it feels like there's, not to say, if you're polyamorous, it's cool, whatever. If that works for you, that works for you, God love you. But, like, using that as like a safety line to try and bring something into your life seems like drastic, very Scorpio behavior.
Yeah, so there's just a lot of interesting expectations that are put on us because of white supremacy, colonization, and just the the church from a long time ago that just instilled all of these very rigid dynamics to I in my opinion in a lot of different ways to kind of put just continue to have us just be little wage cucks.
It's all a part of keeping us in the system, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's all a part of getting systematic.
Yeah. Well, easy. I know you have to leave. So
I have to go. It's just I must leave.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, but it was so great having this conversation with you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, because I have actually another guest that's going to come on to talk about something interesting with their
I hope that
interaction. Goes well. Yeah, but again, everyone, please go check out Easy. Easy is a dear friend of mine and has a lot of really good insight about those sorts of things. So, so go follow Easy.
Yeah, thanks for hanging, everyone, and thanks for having me.
Yeah. So I have another guest that's going to come on in a little bit. But before we do, I just want to remind everybody that Nondre is doing a, I don't know why I said non. Big Mommy Alexa, we're actually going to raid into her after the stream because she is having a birthday partner stream, and me and a lot of other people like Non and Libby and some other folks are going to be playing Among Us, which is going to be very fun. So if you want to also go check out Big Mommy Alexa, we're going to be raiding into them anyway, but please also go follow them as well. A very lovely content creator, and I believe a very, very cool person. So yeah. Also, Trent, thank you so much for the 5 months, and Toma, thank you for the 11 months. Thank you again for supporting your local jazz station, because again, it's something that's very important to continue to do. So, something else I wanted to introduce you to, speaking on the topic of marriage. Let's see. I have a fantastic guest who knows so much about marriage, so much so that they want to fully eradicate it from a very, very big stance to take. But we have a marriage abolitionist coming on to talk about their experience with trying to abolish marriage as an institution. Please welcome to the show, Steven Onassis. Steven, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hi, Steven. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me. God damn, is it fucking hot out?
Yeah, it's a hot one out there where you're at?
I got it. Can you send me a towel, please? I agreed to do this show, and you gotta send me a goddamn towel. I'm sweating bullets out here. I'm so drenched.
Yeah, you sound damp.
Yeah, it's getting into my eyes, and it's stinging, and frankly, it's making me pretty irritated.
Well, if you need a second to go get a towel or flush your eyes out.
No, we're doing this. I'm here. Let's talk about it. What you want to talk about?
Yeah, well, Mr. Onassis, I've seen you a lot of your takes on Twitter. I know you recently wrote a book about marriage abolition, why the wife should get out of my kitchen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, yeah. It's why. Look, a lot of hay has been made on this book. 8-page articles in the New York Times calling me a sicko, calling me just a person who just hates everyone, and I don't think that's true. I see marriage as a bear trap. You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you're wandering through the woods of your life, searching for mushrooms of happiness. And what do they do? What do these women do? They cling onto your ankle and just gnaw and tear and rip until you want to saw your own fucking leg off just to get out. And who needs it? Get this shit out of here. Yeah.
Yeah, so have you been married before, Mr.
Oh, I've
Onassis?
been married about 12 times.
12 times?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can call me an expert. That's a lot of times. More times than most, I'll say.
Yeah, and so from those 12 marriages, you believe in marriage abolition? You think it should not be an institution in the United States or throughout the whole world? Like, what's your political stance on that?
So, I've gone through a bit of an evolution here, like as we all do as humans, we evolve in our ways and our thinking. In my 20s, on about marriage number 5, I was ready to just give up the whole thing. I was ready to storm the Capitol and burn every marriage certificate they had in that godforsaken place. Now I'm kind of at a kind of a more of a religious kind of thing. I've been exploring, different modalities of ritual. And what I think, where I've come to right now, I think divorce is one of the holiest acts you can commit.
Interesting.
I think you put yourself through the ringer of a goddamn divorce to goddamn family court, just gnawing and tearing at you like Job, sitting on the stink pit of filth, the barge of garbage, being pecked at by the crows of the family court judge, telling you have to pay alimony. Your wife deserves the Mazda Miata, not you. And through that pain, through that unending suffering, you come out whole. You come out cleansed. You come out empty, ready to let the world in.
It's interesting. Now let me ask you, when did you first get married? Oh, were you really young?
Yeah. So I got married to, Darla when I was about 19. We were fresh out of high school. Billy Idol was on the radio. Marriage was in the air, and we were just ready to take on the world.
I remember that time.
Yeah, as we all do. But about 8 weeks later, the wreckage started pouring in. The house of sanity that we had built over those 54 days started crumbling all around us. And just the pain and suffering, the licking serpent tongues whacked at my eyes of this trap that had been set in me. Darla, she looked at me with empty eyes every day when I got up to go to my job at the glass factory. And all I could hear all day at the glass factory was smashing. Recalling the smashing of my own soul that awaited me every fucking day when I got home.
Yeah, and did you bring up the divorce, or did she bring it up? Like, was that a really intense conversation? Was there glass thrown around? Was it intense?
The divorce struck us both like a bolt of fucking lightning. Yeah. Let me tell you, we were sitting there looking at 2 dry pork chops on each of our plates, staring at the pores of the meat as they wept their horrid juices. And we looked at each other, and I saw a nuclear blast in her eyes that I just knew staying even a moment in her presence was just inviting more vitriol, more venom, more tasks, more chores, more of my goddamn mother-in-law. And I ran. I'm not proud to say it, but I ran.
Yeah. Would you say that sorry to if you had more to share about the story, I just had a little tangent thought.
Oh no, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Recalling these is just a tale of a thousand cuts. What do you have to say?
Yeah. I've heard that divorce with your wife is more satisfying because it's like divorcing your mother-in-law. Is that true?
Oh my God, is that true? Cutting a wife out of your life, that's one of the great pleasures. It's like picking a dandelion out of a great field and just blowing it and watching the shattered pieces of your relationship fly away. But getting that goddamn mother-in-law out of your goddamn life, it's like seeing a big 10-point buck in the crosshair of your scope and taking that shot, goddammit. And you stand over the corpse. Not literally. I'm not saying literally. I did not kill or eat my mother-in-law, but spiritually, I gutted her like a goddamn buck and I tore into her liver.
Yeah. That's sort of like spiritually.
Spiritually, of course. Spiritually, okay. Mentally, in a joke in a video game, she's still alive.
And is this still where you were? Was this when you were living in San Luis Obispo?
This is when I was living in San Luis Obispo, yes. I had just moved from UC Santa Cruz, go Banana Slugs. We had just bought a bungalow in San Luis Obispo, and by God, I was ready to go to the beautiful sandy shores of Ojai by the end of that.
Yeah, so then 12 divorces later, and here we are now. I mean, your book has been actually doing very successful in terms of, because you self-published this, because based off of other interviews I listened to you, no one else would publish it. Yeah,
it started off as about like sort of a leaflet that I was, going to the big, those big skyscrapers in New York of Simon and Schuster, Penguin Books, and I was sitting at the glass, pounding on the glass, read my pamphlet, I said, and they wouldn't. And they goddamn wouldn't. These institutionalists, these marriage sickos, these couplists, I call them. You like that term, couplists?
Yeah, very poignant, very on the nose, yes.
Yeah, came up with that on my own. And so I was forced to scrawl my manifesto on big sheets of construction paper and staple it together and just sit on the corner of State and Madison in Chicago, just passing it out, screaming, anyone, please hear me, please hear my cry. And they did, didn't they? Didn't they? I'm here now, huh?
Yeah. And your book has been very popular. I would say it had more of a takeoff due to a TikTok you posted about on social media promoting the book. Now, give me a second to actually pull that up in just a second. Hold on.
Yeah. Please show me. Show the people the TikTok.
Let's see. But yeah, I've seen that you've gotten a lot of success with using advertising through social media means to get your book out. How was that experience for you?
Oh, it's been spectacular. I've been banned on about 57 different platforms, but hey, that's a business, baby. That's a sign of success. When you get shunned from a platform, that's how you know you're doing it right. And boy, have the media paid attention. I make that Jordan Peterson look like fucking Caillou, let me tell you. It's child's play.
Yeah. Do you listen to a lot of Jordan Peterson?
That fucking walking corpse. He has some interesting ideas, some ideas to contend with, but I just see him as another stepping stone in my way, another sicko trying to get his shit published, and I beat his dick in the dirt. Look at him. He's sick. He's in Albania eating horse meat and being chained to a radiator by his daughter. And look at me.
Yeah.
Big muscles, top of the New York Times bestsellers, baby.
It's very impressive. Now, again, let's sort of step back and look at this beautiful video that you posted, which was interesting because it actually had really nothing to do with the book itself, but because of the virality of just this video, you were able to be able to see some success off of the rest of your account. So let's just sort of watch this. So this is your account, best of the internet _1. Sort of just start this back.
Right.
Sort of watch that again. So this was you, right?
Oh, that was me. I was sitting in the sunny shores of Palm Springs, and that the great storm of 012 was coming through, wouldn't it? Remember that?
I do remember that.
Yeah, and boy howdy was I battering down my hatches. Was in my basement storing up my jars of mayo. I was ready for anything. And I took one little peek out and I saw that cat flying through the sky. I was like, I know I gotta get a picture of this. I know I gotta see this. And it was horrible. You can hear my cries in Spanish. I also speak Spanish.
Yeah, I was wondering if it sounded like you, but it maybe could have been someone else. So you also know Spanish. Because one of the people you married at the time, I believe they were from España, no?
They were from... Yeah, thank you for that
Ophelia?
pronunciation. They were from España. Yeah, I spent a lot of time in Barcelona, and during my time I met I like to refer to them as a creature. As a creature. And the Barcelonan bull. I can't even bear to pronounce their government given name. But she stormed through my heart and impaled it like so many on her tusk.
So you were the bullfighter and she was the bull.
Right. And boy, was I gored for the public amusement.
So you were stabbing her, because that's kind of what they do.
I would say there was a lot of collateral damage.
Okay.
Given on both parties.
So it was like mutually toxic.
Yeah, there was we were wrestling around in a big pile of blood. Metaphorically, of course.
Yeah, so again, you've had all these very like worldly experiences of going to many different countries and meeting many different women and just really, hitching up with them and being married. And I just wonder, like, why did it take 13 times to then get to a point where it was like, okay, marriage should be eradicated? It was just like the tipping point. Did you like the number 13? Did the last woman just really do something to you? For you?
I see it as a great pyramid, right? As a great pyramid of pain that I stacked up brick by brick. You wander through life with so much animosity that just gets piled on top of one another until you reach the tipping point. My tipping point was named Kamala Harris.
And that was another reason why you became very successful.
Yeah, because I successfully divorced Kamala Harris. God damn it. Got her out of my life, and she, as much as I spit and gnash my teeth and have spent countless nights pacing, thinking about the wreckage of our marriage, I come to see her as a gift because she was the one that finally showed me the light and showed me that, despite all of her incredible relationships, one to Montel Jordan. Or Montel Williams, not the R&B vocalist Montel Jordan, but Montel Williams, the talk show host. She had been through so many of these, so much rigmarole, and when she came to me, she was already torn up, ready for the chattel pile, ready to just be thrown out. And she was a wreck, and she wrecked me. She poured it all on me. And I knew once I broke out of that this institution has to be done, and that not only do we need to We don't just need to end marriages. We need mandatory marriages that end in divorce in 8 weeks.
Interesting. So you think that marriages should still be around, but you must get divorced with them at some point.
Yeah. It's much like our country's greatest moment, the Vietnam War.
Right.
You remember the Vietnam War?
I was there.
You were there. Incredible. You were on the beaches of Da Nang.
Well, my grandmother was a nurse. So in a way,
incredible.
when you think about, because biological grandmother, I was an egg of an egg, if you think about it.
You have epigenetic memories of the Vietnam War.
Thank you.
That's what I'm understanding.
Yes.
So you know that the great decider of that war was the draft. Mm-hmm. We love the draft, don't we here, folks? Type a 1 in chat if you love the draft. And so kind of what I'm proposing, instead of, signing up our young men to go die in a colonial conquest, that every American, no matter who, has to be married by the age of 20 and then promptly divorced.
So is it because you want them to know the suffering of it so then they don't do it again? Is it because you have this pettiness of wanting to know that like others have gone through the same pain you have? Or besides that, I don't see an actual functional reason as to why besides your own personal emotional gain, which seems very sadistic.
Well, I kind of compare it to a circumcision.
Okay.
It doesn't seem like there's much of a point, really. It seems like an oddly sadistic act, but it represents a covenant with God. And what this represents is a covenant with your own soul, knowing that pain has been there and you've experienced that pain and you've given yourself up and the sickness that lies within marriage.
Yeah, so are you a religious man?
Am I a religious man?
Yes. I read your book, so I know, but in case, the listeners at home need to know. Whoever read
I've experimented with damn near every religion out there. And it seems like, Catholicism, Buddhism, Islam, the only thing that rang true to me is the religion of pain. Is the religion of pure suffering. Right. I believe that's our most divine attribute, is our ability to hurt.
Yeah, because with pain comes beauty, no? It eventually...
There's clarity.
Yeah, because if you felt good all the time, then it would become dull and you would get used to it, right? And same with marriage, right? You get married to a person and you stay with them the whole time and becomes complacent when that's the only thing you feel, right? When that's the only person you spend your life with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a sick cycle, and like you try to invite beauty and happiness into your life, and all that is fleeting. But what's not fleeting? Horrible, gut-wrenching pain.
Yeah,
it's disgusting, and it corrupts your soul, and I'm ready to sit in the mud and muck with it.
I think that I think you make a lot of really really I don't know what other words to, a very condensed what's it called, very rich points, but I don't see why you can't just educate children and people. Let's say if you do believe that marriage is something that brings a lot of pain and there is pain to be had from that. I think people can find a lot of pain not through a marriage going south, but from a lot of other reasons, from grief with family members, grief with and frustration with your peers, embarrassment, not living up to expectations. So why specifically marriage? Why marriage as a function of creating more pain? Is there not already enough pain in the world for people?
God, no. God, no. We live such comfortable lives, and I can go into my fucking pantry right now and grab a spoon and eat a little nibble of peanut butter. Can't you? And that's a little.
I don't have peanut butter in my pantry.
Fucking get some. What are you doing? You're just
Well,
sitting here.
I actually can't afford to get groceries at the moment.
You're a talk show radio host.
Yeah, well, we get pennies a day.
They gotta start paying you. You gotta light a fire in that office. You gotta show that. That's the only way you win anything. It's through pain. You have to inflict pain in order to get what you want. You have to accept and inflict pain. I deal in the economy of pain. So Italians, they deal in the economy of respect, and I deal in the economy of pain. And the more pain, the better, baby. I'm getting rich off of it.
Yeah, so what you're saying is for me to become monetarily successful is I have to find pain and turn it into money.
Correct. What here's a thought experiment.
Okay.
I bet if you were to go right now and slam your head against that blank whiteboard and give yourself a nosebleed, you could look in your pocket and see $20 to buy all the fucking peanut butter you would want.
Do you think that's gonna work?
There's only one way to find out.
Okay.
Are you brave enough?
Yeah, let me just prepare myself.
Okay.
And you've done this before?
I do this every day.
You do it every day and just money shows up in your pocket?
Oh my god, it's incredible the gifts that pain can give to you.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll try it and my nose will bleed?
One time I jumped off the roof and I looked over and I had a brand new Kia Sorento in the driveway. You ready for that?
Well, I'll try it. Okay.
Oh, I'm thrilled.
Okay. My nose is bleeding.
Your nose is literally bleeding.
Now let's check my pockets.
Wow. Isn't that stunning?
It's not $20.
Oh.
That's the gain. That's the gain.
Seven smackaroos right there for you. And all it took was a little bit of bloodshed.
And you do this every day?
What can I say? I'm a husk. That's what's on the jacket cover. I don't have any quotes from anyone. Just a quote from me. I'm a husk.
Yeah, also we received an anonymous donation for the radio station of $20. Thank you so much.
What did I tell you? What did I tell you? You let the pain in and the money flows. You let the pain in, the gifts keep giving, and that's the economy of pain.
Wow. And do you go to the doctor often?
Oh, you think I trust doctors? That's incredible. That's incredible that you believe that.
Okay. So do you ever get checked? I mean, I imagine when you hit your face that much, it's probably not the best feeling.
Nah, I got a few tubes of super glue keeping me together.
Oh, okay. Just your skull's falling apart or your nose is falling off? What gives?
Like obviously I'm an emotional wreck of a man, just completely hollow. But yeah, I'm also a physical wreck. I shamble around. I am currently dragging my foot along by a tendon. But hey, top of the New York Times bestseller, baby.
Yeah, and
how do you get there without being the most pain-stricken man on planet Earth?
So, here's kind of a little bit of a proposition here. Let me first off again promote your book, a very fantastic book. I'll link it in chat for anyone who wants to, or I will post it on our website for any folks who would like to purchase the book, Marriage Abolition, Get My Wife Out of the Kitchen. There's a link if you need to get access to it. I sort of want to just go into a couple more final thoughts. I don't want to fully wrap up at just this point. How much money have you gotten from hitting your head on the wall? Can you give digits?
I would say solely from hitting my head on the wall, $75,000.
Wow, and that's accrued over what time?
That's accrued over a lifetime.
Your whole life. Okay.
I would sit as a young lad, just smacking my head against the wall and eating the paint chips that resulted. And every time, three little quarters appeared under my bum.
Yeah. So it happened every year, and you just turned 70, correct?
Yeah, 74.
70 divided by, you made how much? $75,000.
$75,000.
Okay, over your whole life. So...
Keep in mind, this is just from smacking my head against the wall. I haven't counted the emotional damage and me gnawing off my own fingernails every day when I wake up. This is solely from smacking your head against the wall.
Okay, so apparently, so per year you made roughly a tiny bit more than $1,000 a year doing that. Do you think that could have attributed to maybe, because you hit your head on the wall and you figure that out when you're young and you kind of get into this rat race of gotta make money, gotta hit my head on the wall. Do you think that you hitting your head on the wall maybe in your brain caused some sort of hatred for marriage? Or maybe it's because of the physical damage you've done to yourself that it also affected you emotionally to maybe not be able to connect properly with these women. Ergo, you talking about Jordan Peterson being susceptible to these people who are, I would say, a really just jumping into alt-right pipeline, incel behavior. Do you feel like that could have contributed to that? Do you think if you didn't, maybe you would be able to have a healthy relationship?
Are you saying, now let me get clear what you're saying to me. Are you saying that I've caused myself so much cognitive damage and brought so much pain into my own life that I am unable to maintain healthy relationships with anyone and have gotten sucked into a pit of my own suffering that I can no longer escape?
Wasn't gonna go that far, but I think that could have been something. Have you been to therapy before, Steve?
I've not, but I'm gonna be honest, that thought just rocked my shit pretty fucking hard.
Yeah, I mean, feel free to take all the time you need, but again, I think that we're all deserving of relationships that make us feel special and loved. And Steve, you said a lot of things that definitely rubbed me the wrong way, gave me an impression that I don't think that you're able to hold these really sustainable relationships, but I don't think that means that you're not deserving of it. I think you are. I think we all are.
I think I gotta go walk around on a field in the middle of an open field for about 3 hours.
Yeah, I think you take your time. I appreciate you're being very emotionally vulnerable, Steve.
I
appreciate that.
I got in this moment, I appreciate the emotional cannonball that you have just rocketed into my solar plexus.
Yeah, you know what?
And
I'm gonna set you up with a therapist that I know. Could I do that?
Oh. I mean, my world is in shambles, so they can only build it back up at this point.
Yeah, so I know of a really good therapist that I think would be perfect for you. However, her name is Darla.
Oh God! Just hearing her name again brings up. Oh God, Darla!
But if you're willing to overlook that, maybe she's really great. I don't think she's the same Darla.
Oh, Darla.
Okay, I'm gonna pause the show for just a second. We have a generous donation from Dick Cheney of $100.
Well, would you look at that? The demon of pain himself rears his ugly head.
Now, were you close to Dick Cheney growing up?
Oh, Dick Cheney is the Sultan of Sin, and boy howdy am I dancing to his tune. Hi, Dick. How you doing? Over there, you old so-and-so?
Yeah, Dick, thank you so much for contributing towards Steven Onassis' therapy with Darla, because she's expensive.
Oh! Darla!
That's very generous of you, Dick Cheney. Thank you for keeping the lights on here at this
Thank you,
station.
Dick.
That's incredibly gosh darn generous. Public radio, we are not cursing. That's that is what you. Yeah. So again, we have the money, we have the funds. Are you gonna do it?
Wow. Look, if old Dick himself has reared his beautiful shiny dome, and I can only take that as a sign from whatever I believe in, that I must approach Darla, and I must seek some help.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dick.
I actually do you have a few more minutes to spare?
I do. I think I can compose myself for a few more minutes.
Would you be okay with talking to Darla right now?
I suppose I could muster up the courage.
Yeah, I think I have Darla actually. She's actually in the other office area because this is like a, radio show room where there's a lot of different office spaces, and her practice is right next door. Should I go get her?
Yeah. Let me do.
Steve.
Yeah. Let me just stab a screwdriver into my palm real quick before she gets in here. But yeah, go grab her.
I'm gonna grab her, and if you want to talk to the listeners who are listening right now and see if they can give you any advice while I go get her, I think that would be good for you. Okay.
Oh yeah. Let me go. Just let me out. All right, folks. I'm gonna need you to drop a spiritual prayer bomb on me. If I'm gonna face down the demon Darla, the one that set me on this path, I'm gonna need a big focus of your energy. If you could just you don't have to inflict a lot of pain on yourself, but pain is what I believe in. If you could just like flick yourself on the forehead, just give yourself a little flick. And the combined very mild pain of all of your energies will fuel me. So yeah, please, anybody. And Dick, again, thank you so much for that donation. Good God, I've seen the light, and it's only through your eyes. So I realize you probably had to embezzle a lot of those funds from Halliburton, and I respect the hustle. You're a real rise and grind king. Oh, you hit I see a user named Pip hit their shin on the bed frame for me. Wow, that just means so much to me. What a gift you've given me on this day. Yeah, just banging your shins around, stubbing your toe on your, or maybe just stepping on a Lego or two would really juice me up. Oh, I can feel your pain flowing through me and giving me strength.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi, I think Kipp had me coming on. I had an hours to spare. I heard that
Yes.
they were looking for someone to talk to for like a consultation, I think.
Yes.
Are you okay? Are you okay?
Yeah. It's just taken me a lot because I just I know your name, and it's really there's a lot of turmoil associated with it, and a lot of turmoil associated with me being vulnerable. So I'm just really trying to batten down the hatches here.
Yeah, that's totally fine. I want you to be able to feel comfortable to connect with me in this moment. So you don't even have to say your name. You don't even need to tell me who you are if you don't want to be that vulnerable right now. Just tell me a little bit about why you're curious about therapy.
Look, let me give you the long and short of it.
Sure.
I'm a broken man. My arms one of my arms has just fallen off. I'm going to be honest with you. I am physically broken from just a lifelong bout of self-inflicted pain. I'm also a spiritually broken man. I have wandered through the wreckage of 12 divorces, and I at one point, about 20 minutes ago, I felt like I had reached some clarity. But now I see that the wake of wreckage behind me, and I can do nothing but weep. Do you ever weep?
I used to weep a long time ago, and now it comes every so often. But I think we all have periods of intense emotional moments, and I think it
It's
seems
pretty intense.
yeah,
It's pretty intense
for you. Yeah, it seems like I noticed you use this harsh word of feeling like a broken man. Broken. It's a really intense. It's an intense word. What does it mean for you to be broken?
Well, there's the literal definition to where my jaw is hanging out of its socket and my teeth are bitter little specks in hanging in my mouth. I am physically broken through years of dealing in what I call the economy of pain, which has made me a very wealthy man.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the literal definition, but the spiritual definition is I am hollow. I look, it all started at 19. Darla just wanted me to do some chores around the house. Darla just wanted me to take the dog out and let him have a shit in the yard and then pick it up afterwards. And I couldn't handle the expectations. I couldn't handle it. And I ran. And I ran. And I ran all the way to Toluca Lake. And I've abandoned everyone since then. I'm an island of a man. I'm a shell. I've been riven.
Stevie?
Wait. I thought it was a coincidence. It is you. Darla. Darling. Oh my god. I'm so sorry.
I didn't think it was you.
Darla, I didn't think it was you either. I didn't think the universe would be so kind as to bring us back together.
I don't think it was being so kind by bringing us together again. Do you know the amount of pain that you caused me?
Oh, God, Darla.
I spent so long learning how to deal with moving on without getting any closure. Do you know what it's like to not get any closure, Stevie? It's a bitch of an emotion to feel.
God.
Do you know how many times I had to feed the 9 dogs you left?
Oh, God, I know. I thought I left you some meat in the deep freeze, but God, it probably wasn't enough. Oh,
you left
God.
George behind. You left Elaine behind. You left
Kramer behind.
You left them all behind. And who had to take care of him? I did.
You did.
I had to be the one who had to pick up all the pieces that you left behind. You know how heavy that red neon sign was that you left in our house?
Oh my God.
It blinded me every day. And did I say a single thing? No, because I knew that you loved it.
I did. It
and
really,
then you just
it really
run off.
shone a light on the room.
And you just run off.
I ran. But darling, you gotta understand. You gotta understand. I was scared.
What were you scared of, Stevie? I loved you so much. You were my first love. You were my first everything. You were my everything.
I know, and I couldn't be that for you. I couldn't be your everything.
And why couldn't you?
I'd never meant anything to anybody. I just couldn't handle it. I knew what you deserved. I knew you deserved better than what I could give you. And I couldn't bear the thought.
Then why the fuck did you take me to Buca di Beppo and get down on one knee and propose to me? It makes no sense to me. It's like you wanted it, but you couldn't meet the expectations.
It's true. You read me like a goddamn coloring book. I'm
just was confused. I'm just very confused by everything that you've ever done. And now that
look, when I looked in your eyes at that Buca di Beppo, and I saw the glint of that diamond in your beautiful gray eyes, I saw the world in you. But I also I knew deep down I didn't feel like I was enough. I saw what I wanted, and it was right there in that beautiful Buca di Beppo, right under the poster of Joe DiMaggio and Marilyn Monroe on the wall, right next to all the tchotchkes and the model fire truck that's sitting right there on that wall. I can see it as clear as day. And every day I wish I could go back. Every day.
Well, why can't we?
You couldn't take me back after all I've done to you. You couldn't reel me back in.
I think I could try. You know, I've also been divorced 12 times.
You don't say.
I've been divorced 12 times. I was so deep into my just marriage depressions, just failed, man, year after year. Just because none of them enjoyed Buca di Beppo as much as you did.
Oh, sure.
I just couldn't handle it, so I left, and I kept leaving, looking for something that was just similar to the love that we had, Stevie.
Darling.
Stevie.
We've been both walking this path of pain in search of what we could have, but we had it all along. We knew what we wanted, and we've been walking this horrid earth, searching for what we had in that Buca di Beppo.
Do you still live near San Luis Obispo?
I live a little closer to Mendocino, but you know I could relocate. I'm not attached to the area.
What if we meet at that Buca di Beppo one more time?
Oh, Darla.
Would you want to have dinner at Buca di Beppo and share a giant plate of some goddamn fettuccine Alfredo chicken?
God,
with extra chicken, because I remember that's how you used to order it.
Oh boy, if they could give me the whole chicken right there on that plate covered in noodles, I would take it. Darla, this is a gift. Oh, Darla.
I'm driving there right now. I'm going to drive there right now.
I'm getting in my Honda Accord. I'm getting in it. Oh, Darla.
We hear that on the phone that Stevie was in a car and his car crashes and we hear an explosion. Stevie?
Oh, no.
Stevie, are you okay?
Oh, Darla, my torso's in 8 pieces, scattered all along the 405.
Oh, Stevie, please stay with me. Stay with me. You gotta be strong, baby. You gotta be strong. Please stay with me.
Darla, I don't have long left. But please, I know what a gift to spend the last moments with you. You know, whether it's on the phone or I just know I can feel you here.
I'm there, Stevie.
I can feel you right here. I can feel you right here, and Darla. Can you do me one kindness?
Yes, of course, Stevie.
You go to that Buca di Beppo, and you get that fettuccine Alfredo, and you get it with extra Parmesan grated on there. Please.
Stevie's blood starts pouring out of his nose, just like the multiple times he hit his head on his wall to get that crisp $20 bill every day. It's just so much blood. But there was not enough blood to compare to the amount of love that Stevie and Darla had. And that's the scene. Oh my God, everyone, please give it up for Easy Online Banking. Oh my God, what a fucking actor. Easy. That was so fucking
please give it up for Hey Kipp, Kipperino. God damn. What a time!
Oh, that was so fun. Oh, Darla. Darla. That's good. Also fun. Thank you for the rate. And Dick Cheney, thank you for another fucking $100 tip. Jesus fucking Christ.
No fucking way. That's fucking wild.
Oh,
Holy
Jesus
shit, Dick.
Christ.
God damn.
Yeah, how was that? How was that? Have you ever done like
really fucking fun.
a thing like that where it was like a improv like over like a
not
over
like
the
a
phone?
Not like a half-hour long scene. That was cool.
Wow.
That was pretty sick.
That was so fun.
Yeah, thanks, Kipp.
Yeah. What again, where can people find you? What do you like to do? A little bit of a little promo.
I mean, if you're feeling saucy and the moon is in the right house and the clock has struck 3 a.m., you might find me at twitch.tv.com/ezonlinebanking. I've been playing a lot of Tarkov lately. I've been just like hanging out doing that. Maybe some other ideas. I love to just come up with ideas and never do them. But hey, follow, and maybe one of them will happen at someday.
Oh, it's great. It's great.
Yeah.
Also uses a great Twitter, and it's a fantastic time. It's very cool. Easy, I'm glad that you wanted to do this. I literally messaged Easy 5 minutes before I streamed and went, hey, Easy, do you want to do this thing where you just improv, we'll just think of a topic, and then I Googled topics, and then marriage shut up. I went, okay, we're going to talk about
That's
marriage.
what you did? You Googled the word topic.
And then marriage shut up. I was like, okay, we're just going to talk about marriage. And then
the mind of a genius.
Yeah. So that was fun.
Cool. Yeah, thank you, Kipp.
Would you ever do something like this again?
Of course. Are you kidding me? Drop a hat. I'm there.
That's cool.
You are extremely fun you're a spectacular improviser. Holy shit. What a gift.
It's a fun time. Thanks, Easy, for doing a little experimental stuff, because I think I kind of want to do this more often. Like, just have guests come on and do, like, a cool kind of, like, I forget, like, just, like, a little, like, monologue, like, not a monoscene, like, a monologue as, like, the suggestion type of thing. We just talk as ourselves, and then, like, I stay myself and have, like, a new guest on, and then it kind of turns into, like, a whole story.
Boy, howdy, is that a format right there. I love a good improv format.
Mm-hmm. The Jazz FM format.
Jazz FM 91 coming to a local theater near you.
Yeah. Oh, it's great.
Oh. Yeah, it was really fun.
Thank you again, Easy, and I hope you take care and all the good stuff. Thanks for being my friend and having a silly fun time.
Yeah. Thanks for being my buddy. I hope you have a good stream. And you fuckers out there in Yodi land in the chat, I hope you have a good time.
Yeah. You have a good night, Easy. I'll see you later.
Later. Bye.
Bye.